Thank you for joining us. This is RSJ LifeMatics, the mathematics of life. Last week, we actually talked about a very important topic, why men cheat and how to have a happy married life. That topic was pretty much explosive, and my panelists did great justice to that topic. And they talked about a whole lot of stuff. I have a summary of a few things I gathered myself during that discourse. Things like importance of communication and why men have to treat their wife the way they will treat their own daughters. How men must be ready for marriage before they say I do. And the little things that we do to keep the love going, that how we will continue as men to do that. And also, another panelist mentioned something about fighting for your marriage, which is very important. And another very, very important factor that was a takeaway in that last week's episode was something Dr. Ruth said, something about mental health, taking time to make sure you have great mental health, because with a good mental health, you'll be able to prepare you to have a great marriage. And this week, we're going to be talking about a very, very important topic. And this topic has a lot to do, again, the role of a woman in securing their marriage. And marriage in this context is securing their relationship, which includes marriage, dating, and courting. And again, I have my very wonderful, awesome panelists in the studio to do justice to this topic. I'm going to start off today with Dr. Ruth. Dr. Ruth, again, is a senior nurse educator at the Parkland Health and Hospital System, Dallas, Texas. She's an American Psychiatric Nurses Association Suicide Prevention Competency Facilitator. Dr. Ruth is the founder and CEO of Comfort Foundation, an organization dedicated to the public and professional education. Dr. Ruth, welcome to the program. Dr. Ruth?
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Next up again is, of course, a regular face in this program, RSJ LifeMatics, Reverend Tony Okolo. Father Tony Okolo is a Catholic priest from Nigeria and works in Our Lady of the Lake Roman Catholic Parish, Lake Havasu, Arizona. He holds a doctorate degree in theology and has great passion for the education and guidance of the youth and family. Thank you guys for joining us today. Father Tony, you are on mute. You might want to take yourself off the mute.
Thank you very much for inviting me for this program. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to start off right away. We want to make this to be as brisk as possible. The first question I have here, and that question will be going to Father Tony Okolo. So, Father Tony, as you know, women play a major role in keeping their relationship lasting strong every day. It's important, again, to call out here that relationship in this context include marriage, courtship, and dating. So in your own words, what role do women play in keeping their relationship going?
Thank you very much, Jude, for giving me the opportunity to share some ideas on this particular topic. So the first thing I would say is, for any relationship to thrive and to succeed, the partner, especially on this case, the woman, first of all, has to cherish that relationship in which she is into. If you don't cherish the relationship, or if you don't value it, then there's no way you can sustain it. So the first point I'll make is, for a woman to secure her relationship, she must value it. And as I will just give you a little example, when someone gives you a good phone, for instance, and you love that phone, you do everything to secure that phone. You won't like it to, fall on the ground, to break. In the same way, you have a good relationship, you must cherish it and value that relationship. And then by valuing it, you have to give in your best. In that way, you secure that relationship. Then the second one I will also say is, try to find out the likes and the dislikes of your husband, of your fiancé, of the man you are going out with. It is when you be able to know what he likes or what he doesn't like, then you as a woman will now know how to go on. But if you are not attentive to know what this guy likes, you will be making mistakes, and then that can cost you that relationship or that marriage. So that's the second point I want to make. And then the third point I want to make is this: in any relationship, the woman should be able to, be open. Don't sweep things under the carpet. When you sweep things under the carpet, with time, it turns into a mountain that it becomes difficult to climb. But when you begin from the moment to, be open and not allow things to be swept under the carpet, discuss issues with your partner. In that way, you're securing your relationship or your marriage. So for now, I will leave it from, at this point till, I have opportunity to talk again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I do appreciate your input, Father Tony Okolo. Keywords there is valuing the relationship, knowing your likes and dislikes, and being open to one another. Let's go ahead and hear from Dr. Ruth. Dr. Ruth, I know you might have a different perspective, but let's see what you got to say. I refuse to second guess you, but let's see what happens here. Dr. Ruth, please, the same question. What role does women play in keeping the relationship, whether in marriage, courtship, or dating?
I just want to say that Reverend Father Okolo was very correct. Whatever you place value on, the value you place on things matters how you work for it. So it revolves around value. I told you, I'm an ardent listener of Father Oloma today. One of his messages I listened to said, there is no ready-made wife or husband out there. You have to bring them and do what? Both of you work together and make it happen. However, his context was in the area of when one person is trying to do the work and the other person is not contributing. What does he do? He creates a strain on the other person not to be successful. But in the area of a woman, what I would say, one is commitment. When you value it, which is number one that Reverend have said, then you have to commit to it. Yes, and commitment requires your time, your energy, your intellectuals, your prayer. Women are very good in the place of prayer. It doesn't matter which tribe you are. For people who don't pray, they have to do some element of commitment. Another thing that's been suggested is being what? Supportive. I know sometimes this can be taken for granted, but women plays a lot of role in supporting that relationship. There is a lot of divorce going on around this time or this area these days, because sometimes some women assume that they're in the area of the support is not being appreciated. So they kind of try to withdraw the support. But if you want to make it work, one of your roles is toward commitment, be supportive, and try to be understanding. It's hard. Like I would say, these are two different people coming from different neighborhoods. They have different upbringing. They have different exposures. But for you to thrive, you have to be able to find a way to see where you can find a common ground. Understanding, communication. Communication is important. Even me as a person, I struggle with that. You have to be able to have an open communication. Sometimes what we think is communication is not communication. It's just dishing of words, giving and receiving. That is not communication. And sometimes you assume that people understand what you communicate, or your spouse or your partner understand what you communicate. Sometimes they don't. And sometimes we become selectively mute or selectively recipient. So we only listen to what we want to listen. But communication is a big deal. So I agree with Reverend. Value. Based on that value, you have to commit. The role is in the area of commitment, understanding, being able to cherish what you value. The value is number one. The value is very important. Then you communicate with that person, you'll be understanding, you commit to it. Because whatever you value, you're going to come with what? Commit. Then love and respect. Anyway, love is more if you come to, as a Christian, come to the perspective of a Christian. He said the man loved the wife, while the wife respect the man. So the question becomes, which one comes first? But I believe that the love comes first, then the respect comes pari passu. But sometimes you want the respect to come before the love. So your guess is as good as mine. But these are some of the roles that a woman plays in a relationship. There are more, there are many out there. But the circumstances, the situation sometimes inform or feed on what the outcomes will be.
I agree with you 100%, Dr. Ruth, for that insight. Takeaway, commitment, being supportive, finding common ground, and communication. Great, great, great words right there, Dr. Ruth. Now, I will pan the microphone to Father Antonio Colo now. So this question is, in fact, in researching this topic, I know I'm going to come up with this, but how you answer it is basically up to you, depending on the side of the aisle anyone is. So the question is, what is a woman's deal breaker in relationship? Remember, we're talking marriage, courtship, and dating. Is there deal breakers, and what is the deal breaker? Father Tony.
What I understand by what you are saying as deal breaker is maybe something the man will do and the woman will say, no, I'm over, it is over. You know, in this situation, if it is a marriage, I don't think for now what a man can do to a woman and a woman say it is over, unless it's life-threatening. Once it has to do with life-threatening, that your life is not secure. No, I've also encouraged women, look, if it comes to the extent that your life is threatened, you must not stay in that marriage. Apart from that, you know, it depends now, because no two marriages or no two relationships are the same. There's no two relationships that are the same. So each person will paddle your own canoe the way you find it. So for me, it depends on you as a person. But if you ask me my opinion, in any marriage, I don't think there is anything someone will say, oh, once this thing is done, the marriage is over, unless life, you know, is involved. That's what I would say.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. So women, Father Tony is saying, stay there, except if your life is in danger. So that is my summary of that.
No, you are talking about.
That's not what you said.
You are talking about relationship. You are talking about relationship. Yes.
So my understanding, I mean, it could be relative, as I mentioned to you before. It could be relative, Dr. Ruth. But my understanding is that for women, I am not a woman, you know, who wears the shoes.
Those wear pictures.
Exactly. So if it's not life-threatening, or you feel that, listen, this is concerning enough for you to walk away, it is your choice you have to make. All right, to you, Dr. Ruth, do you share that perspective?
I do, but here's the thing. I don't know, because we're holding this topic today, I was like, everything I was listening to today was just revolving around this. Exactly what the Reverend said today, said, you're going to work it out. Another person I was listening to say, when you come into a relationship with a seed mindset, not a need mindset. It's not a time for you to come for the man to solve all the problem in your world. Oh, your brothers are in Washington, they can't pay their house rent. Now you remember your brother in New York that cannot pay your house rent. No, come with a seed mindset. What do I bring to the table? You have to bring something to the table. But then, just like Reverend said, if your life is in danger, domestic violence is not acceptable.
Simple.
In no form, shape, or manner
Yes.
is domestic violence acceptable.
Yes.
Okay? So if your life is in danger, Fadoloma said, run to my house, I will give you transport to run very far away. That's what he said to them. But what I'm trying to say is that you have to be alive to fight for tomorrow.
Exactly. You got it.
He says someone who fights and run away is someone who tends to fight tomorrow.
Yes.
If your life is in danger, don't because of what people will say. You say, I will stay there, because you'll be dead. And it's going to be a story to be told. So as long as you're good, your life is not in danger, there is no domestic violence, find a way to see if you can work it out.
Simple.
Because you have to bring something to the table.
Yes.
The man, this is gone are the days when he said, God said you're my wife. There's nothing like God said you're my wife. God said my house is not true. God has finished all the things he's speaking in the word. It's time for both of you to work it out. That is why he said, who finded a wife, finded a good thing. So you have to find it first for him to give you the good thing. It can't be folding your hand and waiting for him to find it for you. No. He said, I give you the power to make a choice. It's your choice. But he supports your choice, whatever choice you make. So what we don't support, both in the professional world, in any perspective, is when your life is in danger, protect yourself first. Then you protect others. Sometimes you may not even identify your life is in danger. That is what we said, go for evaluation, check if your mental health is intact. There are 4 things that made up of mental health. You mentioned it before. Is ability of an individual to live to their full potential, to respond to stressors appropriately, to contribute to the economy, and to function to their full capacity. Anything that affects these 4 components is what is affecting your mental health. So look at this and see, is there anything that is impeding any of these for you to function to your full potential, for you to live to be productive, for you to contribute to your community, or for you to respond to stress appropriately? Then you might want to check it. So that is pretty much what I would say.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ruth. Very strong words right there. And I know you never, every moment you get, you talk about mental health. Very, very important. As a matter of fact, my viewers, in the next 2 weeks, the next 2 episodes, we're going to be talking about mental health. And this is something that Dr. Ruth advocates about. In fact, it's pretty much something she's very passionate about. And I hope you guys will tune up to that episode when we'll be talking about, mental health issues, lack of sleep, how it impacts in our daily life. Okay, so we have pretty much less than 3 minutes to go for today's program. And I'm going to ask you both, what are your last words? If you could take just a minute, I'm going to start off with Father Tony. 1 minute. What will you tell the women? What is their takeaway in this episode? If assuming they just joined and they're not talking to you, what would they take away that will impact on building great relationships, securing their relationship and their marriages?
The first word I would tell the woman, or tell anybody who is into a relationship, a woman who is into a relationship, try to let the guy know that you love him. Just let him know that you love him. All of us will like to be loved and would like to know that we are really loved. So my takeaway is, you are in any relationship, let the guy know you really love him. And the way you act will convince the person that you really love him. That's what I would say.
Thank you very much. That's quite deep. That's the summary of everything we are talking about today. Thank you, Father Tony. And Dr. Ruth, in 1 minute, if you can.
In addition to what Father just said, you just have to make it work. You have to make it work. Try your own capacity. Do not compete. Do not engage in unnecessary competition. You don't expect a man to buy you Lamborghini when he cannot even afford a Toyota. So live within your means as much as you can. Take care of yourself and try to be the person that he saw the very first time as much as you can. And above all, ask God for grace. It's not easy. There is no relationship that have the same characteristics. There is none. So ask for grace. Grace is available. Ask for it, move with it. And above all, let it happen. Make it work.
Thank you very much. Thank you both. Again, I'm going to start with Father Tony. Thank you for always honoring my invitation to join RSJ LifeMatics. And you're always doing justice to every topic that we have presented to you. Thank you very much. I do really appreciate you, sir. And Dr. Ruth, I don't know how to thank you. Whenever I call you, answer. It's so amazing. And you don't know how much you're touching lives. Maybe you don't know, because I know you're a very humble person. You don't look out for all the glory. You just do what you got to do. But I tell you what, you've been touching lives, and continue with what you're doing. And thank you again for honoring my invitation today.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. My viewers, that's it from my panelists. They've done justice to this. You have to listen to this and share it to your friends and family, particularly the women folk, for them to learn one or two things in how to build their relationship, get that courtship to move over to marriage, and get that dating to move to courtship and then to marriage. They have great words today, and I know there's something for you to take away. Till I see you again next week, it is me, Jude, RSJ LifeMatics. As usual, life is so short. Make the very best out of it. Ciao.